In any folkloric tradition, it's odd to see a character that's not suitable for simple morals, and even so, while representing evil and darkness, has an incredible amount of supporters, or at the very least, doesn't leave anyone indifferent. The inconsistencies in this character are quite impressive, since it exists in a genre that typically fights against paradoxes in its forms and contents. Once you know of the legend of Baba Yaga, it is very likely you will have more questions than answers. What is this entity? Where did she obtain her powers from? Is she a witch or an ancient goddess? Why does she want to toss her guests in the oven? Is she a distant echo of an even older motive regarding an initiation with fire to witchcraft and magic? Such is her allure that in recent years she has become an inspiring figure on the internet. In her infinite folkloric representations, Baba Yaga's physical attributes are almost always disturbing, but constant. The truth is that this fearsome and recurrent character from Russian folklore is described as a supernatural elderly woman, scrawny with wrinkled skin, a blue nose, and stone teeth and breasts, commonly known as bone leg. She spends most of her time flying in a mortar with a pestle, but different contexts exacerbate certain qualities and phenomena related to her. Some accounts show her as the manifestation of winter or storms. Others as a goddess similar to the Greek deity Persephone. Baba Yaga lives in the depths of the cold Russian forest, in a hut standing on chicken legs to travel through the immense extension of this country. She likes to settle it down on areas surrounded by trees, and to adorn the exterior with shiny skulls. The idea of a hut with chicken legs could derive from the huts some towns previous to the formation of Russia as a country had, in order to protect themselves from animals. To enter the house, Baba Yaga says this incantation: "Hut, hut, turn your back to the forest and your front to me." The hut's interior has always plenty of meat and wine. It's also protected by Baba Yaga's invisible servants, which appear as spectral hands. She also has the white, red, and black knights at her service, who control the day, sunset, and night. Many believe she once was the ancient Slavic goddess of earth, before the Russian gods ascended to power. However, Baba Yaga was far from being a benevolent goddess, and used her powers to torment mortals with misery and hunger. She slowly degenerated until becoming the goddess of the underworld, settling her base in a cave from where she maintained contact with this world, and which surroundings soon acquired an intolerable stench. She is considered Cherts, the Russian devil, and Koshai's, the god of disgrace, grandmother. Little by little, Baba Yaga became distant with the world and the other gods. She only had contact with a group of women known as Baba Yaga's daughters, a coven that had her as the central figure. The tales of her exploits vary, but is characteristic of her to either help young visitors who encounter her in their trips, or act in a blunder way and try to eat them. Throughout folklore and individual accounts, Baba Yaga goes from being a maternal aide to a man-eater villain. Aside from being a goddess, she is also a very famous witch, with an ancient and complex manifestation originated from the ever-changing cultural anxiety. a malicious and cruel being who's not entirely evil. She eats people, generally children, tearing them with her teeth and destroying their bodies against her stone breasts. Later, she decorates the front with their skulls, placing candles inside them. Yet, she helps the people who serve her. In a popular tale known as Vasilisa the Beautiful, by far the most famous story involving Baba Yaga, the witch portrays several conflicting roles. Vasilisa lives with her cruel stepmother and two stepsisters, who plot to kill her. After several failed attempts, they end up sending Vasilisa directly to Baba Yaga's home, knowing the old lady eats humans, just like a person eats chicken. However, instead of devouring the girl, Baba Yaga forces her to do a series of domestic work that seem impossible, like separating rice grains from wheat grains before dawn. When Vasilisa succeeds, she earns one of the skull lanterns that adorn Baba Yaga's hut. When she's about to enter her house, the skull engulfs her horrible family in flames, freeing her from their tyranny. Eventually, Vasilisa the Beautiful ends up marrying the Tsar. Here, Baba acts as a liar, a villain, and a savior when she helps Vasilisa get rid of her family, despite doing it through violent means. Unlike the typical fairy godmother of European tales, Baba Yaga is beyond the limits of morality, and her help often manifests in threatening and deadly ways. From ancient Russia, she has gathered a devoted retinue composed of witches and mortals alike. Even her current cybernaut fans, they all tend to have a strong admiration for her. That is, Baba Yaga's ability to live on physically and morally free from the ties of society and inside the boundaries of a paradox, which turns her into the attractive, powerful figure she is. And her complexity and contradictions are precisely what make her a unique character in the folklore that has transcended the limits of her native Russia.